Welcome back to Rolling Until Ragnarok's The Meridian Chronicles with the Circle of Ink and Ichor. Our group was in the middle of collecting some supplies that were left in the New Brexin Gazette's archives when they were interrupted by, as far as they can tell, this entire district losing power. And we'll pick back up with all of you looking out the window and Emily being reminded she has a flashlight.
Yes, I immediately turn it on.
I think we will need more than just the one flashlight.
There was
Probably.
another in the box.
What the fuck just happened?
Good question. I'll start shining the light kind of towards the table so that someone else can assemble the other flashlight and get it working.
I'll put it together and then literally just hand it off to somebody else. So whichever one of you grab it from me first.
Elizabeth, do you want it?
I'd rather have a hand free. I'm going to be having this out for the whole time. And she'll produce her bleed detector, just in case.
I grab the flashlight.
As far as we can tell, at least this district is without power. Is there a map,
Yeah.
Emily? Would they keep one in the archives?
Somewhere. Probably. Let me look, and I'll go off and see if I can find. Well, I won't go off per se. I'm just gonna walk away from the group. But I will see if I can figure out where there's a map. I assume there's one down here somewhere.
Let's call that a survey roll to find it in the dark.
I will assist you on that by burning a drive.
Sweet.
And just follow you where you're going, being an extra set of eyes.
Cool. I will also burn a drive on that, because why not? This is gilded anyway for me. Hold on. So that's 2 for me, and then a drive and a drive. Okay. That's going to be 5. Not gilded, but a 5.
So after a minute or two of finding which aisle you need to go down, you do find this large framed picture of kind of a aerial map of New Brexin, and there is a little star on the building of where you are.
Sweet.
Good. Once we find the map, I'm going to start looking and trying to find the most direct path from here to the Pearl, but specifically my home within the Pearl.
Let me think. What would that be? That would be a focus roll as well, wouldn't it?
That seems right.
You're looking for the quickest route from the Tinkergate district to the Pearl.
Yes.
That would be a couple miles walk, because you kind of don't know if the city's inner city trains are running at the moment.
I'm running off the assumption that they're not, just as Elizabeth in this moment.
Yeah, I'll run a drive to help you with that as well, since I think Emily spent a lot of time just walking around this city in the last several years, so we'll sort of.
Oh, it is very good you did that, because it was a 5 and 2 1s.
What are the other two of you doing?
Raphael is like where the window is, but even if I had to like kind of huddle up and get below it, I'd be like my head is like right below where the window like creaks outside, and I'm like just kind of he's very very still and quiet, which is unlike how he normally is if we've noticed. And it's like he's taking everything in and then it kind of snaps out of it for a moment, but you would have noticed that he's definitely like having a moment to himself where he's like trying to like talk himself down from being scared. And but then he would kind of reach out and be like, "Hey, maybe we should get the other two and just continue. If the lights are out in this district, somebody's going to do something about it, not us. We should just plug on."
Yeah. Quinn has been kind of just looking around the room, not really sure where they can go to or what they can do right now. Kind of just like looking at the area to see if there's anything in this strange little back corner printing press room that could be helpful. And I think they definitely would have noticed Raphael being quiet, but would have given him that space. You know, they don't know each other super well, so I feel like Quinn's not somebody that would have gone up and been like, "You good, buddy?" So yeah, Quinn just kind of looks at Raph after he breaks from his moment of silence. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. We talked about going to the Pearl. We talked about trying to get more information on other things, but I feel like I don't know what it is about the lights being out that just makes it so much harder to think straight.
We put a lot of faith in them to stay on, and so it shakes you a little bit when they are out, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's one less thing out of our grasp of power.
Yeah, I guess so. Because yeah, I feel like I had a sense of what to do, and now I just feel lost. So yeah, I think you're right. Why don't we go grab the other two, and we can try to get moving, I guess. I think that makes the most sense. I don't think staying here helps.
No, we should. We have people to find, or things to figure out at least.
Yeah, definitely things to figure out.
Raph turns and just goes into the darkness, like just looking straight into the darkness, like where they are, like the little light where they are. "So with a map we can go, yes?" Just as loud as possible. Just, yep, trying to break his own tension at this point.
I just follow him with the flashlight, like making sure that he never really disappears into the dark.
Emily definitely jumps when you yell and kind of sighs and looks to Elizabeth like, "We find what we need?"
Yes. So, we'll need to discuss it with the others, but I think I have a plan. Rosie
Right.
lives in the Pearl, as do I. We can, if it is just local, the power is out, we can move well and move quickly out of here in the direction we need to go. If it has spread farther, then I know my home will be a safe place for us to stop, gather our breath, and gather our thoughts before we go after Rosie. She's at the center of this, tied to the one that our PI friend was after.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
You're also much better with people than I am. I've noticed it in how you acted with the tenants of the apartments, and how you've been with everyone we've encountered so far. But if Rosie is who I think she is, she might be a bit more stuck up, as some in the Pearl tend to be.
Yeah, I figured as much.
If we stop by my place, we can put you in something that will let your appearance not stop you from being able to speak to her on equal grounds. Even if she wants it to.
I think you see just like immediately Emily looks offended, but she knows you're right. And so she's like cycling through like hurt pride, but also like that's actually a very good idea. And she just kind of goes, sure.
I mean no offense.
No,
in this moment, I'm being as blunt as I can about everything, so we can get all information on the table.
No, it makes sense. It does. I'm definitely not dressed for the Pearl.
While you're standing there in front of this map, I want both of you to roll me a focus again. This particular roll is very high stakes.
In that case, I will put one more drive in to get me a third die on this.
Is it
This is my last.
possible for me to burn a drive for Emily?
Sure. How are you gonna?
I'm trying to think of how I can help her focus.
I'm burning one of my drives on this as well. I've gone from having lots of drives in intuition to very few, very quickly.
It's. I mean, how many dice do you have now? Because if you feel like you've got it, I don't want to.
Burning one of my drive, I have 2 dice for this.
I don't know how I would help you narratively, so I don't think
don't
I
worry
can.
about it.
This is intuition.
I got it.
Yeah, I'm not very intuitive.
Yeah.
You can have one of my drives. You can have one of my drives.
I can survey.
As Raphael kind of comes in and goes, yeah, and we'll get you a nice hat, and kind of like pat you on the back.
Why are you? Why you? And I will take that drive.
Yep.
Oh no!
So that's a 6 gilded for me.
I rolled a 3 and 2 2s. So.
Hey, at least you and Raph each get a drive back.
Oh yeah,
of your choice.
Good. I will put that right back where it came from.
Yeah, me too.
Elizabeth, you have this spark of recognition because between Tinkergate and the Pearl is Belvedere Row. And you remember there are words written on the business card that Emily has. Florence, Brighton, and Eden. Now there are streets in the Belvedere named Florence and Brighton.
Think you'll almost see a jolt go up Elizabeth's spine as she's like, Emily, do you still have that business card?
I pull it out.
And I'll point to them and find the streets on our path on the way between us and just maybe we stop by here on the way.
Interesting. I guess so.
Are you guys moving out into the dark now?
Yep.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Outside, as you're moving away from the archives, you see people looking out their windows with flashlights and candles, and people are coming outside. You see people rushing from dark alleyways. In the distance, you hear screaming and sirens and gunshots. Things are going crazy in the darkness. And at this point, you can't tell if it is everyone losing their moral standing or if the lightlets are moving in. But you know you have to make it from here to either the Belvedere or the Pearl very quickly.
Do we know what's closer?
The Belvedere is going to be closer. It's between Tinkergate and the Pearl.
I think keeping that mental map in her mind, Elizabeth is going to try and guide us towards Belvedere.
Yeah. Can I say actually that before we leave, Emily will pull out her notebook and just sketch a quick, like, very rough map of just the streets between here and there to help make sure we stay on track.
Mhm.
So we have that too.
As we're going, Quinn is kind of keeping the flashlight really close to their chest, and kind of keeping an eye on either side, almost just, and occasionally looking behind, since we're not sure exactly what the nature of all the disruption from the lights and from how people are acting. We don't know what the cause is. They're on red alert for a couple of things, but really they're looking out for this goddamn giant spiders that they think are out there. And also for any other they're worried about anything coming close.
As we're walking down the street, I'm just pointing at people. Go back inside, Miss Kasha. It's fine. And, like, just telling people to go inside. Get some
As we
sleep.
move, I do have the bleed detector on me, just out and almost pointing it all around me in case anything triggers it.
I think I'm kind of alternating between sort of shining the flashlight sort of broadly ahead and sort of closer in front of us so we don't trip on things.
Quinn's hand is also in their pocket. Their other hand is in their pocket, holding onto the gun.
So as you make your third turn onto a new street, Elizabeth and Raphael, can you roll me a sense roll?
Hey, yeah, I got some stuff in that. I'll even burn a drive. Use 3 dice. Let's go. You gotta do better than me, Elizabeth.
That was a 5 for me.
Great.
How'd
I got
you
3
do?
twos.
Oh, no.
My god.
Amazing.
That all adds up to a 6. That counts, right? Right?
Right?
That's how it works.
Definitely.
It's like D&D. It's like D&D. We add it all together for like
absolutely
an
add it all
attack.
together.
Yeah.
Raph just kind of smells this sweet vanilla smell that you've been taught to look out for as a kid. You've been told when you smell it, hold your breath. Elizabeth, you smell it. You can even see the purple petals on the ground. And from your studies, this means not only hold your breath, but get away. The creatures are coming into town because they are taking advantage of there being no light. And this is one of the scariest you know to run from.
In that moment, Elizabeth is going to simultaneously throw her coat over her face and just almost in just a whispered shout, run to everyone.
Everybody running?
As a reminder, because as long as she still has the picture, yeah, you're good. You would have +1 dice for your move rolls.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I will, I guess, take the hint. I mean,
Yeah, I'll follow along.
I run. Again, kind of keeping to the back and keeping an eye on things from the back.
I would put myself between anybody else in the darkness that I could.
So as you're running, and you know, Elizabeth, this is a missed opportunity to grab these petals because they are very expensive to buy. But right now you've got bigger fish to fry and bigger bugs to find than to be worried about Mr. Nightfall walking the street. So as you're running, I want to make a group move roll.
Anyone not have any dice and move?
Give me one sec.
All right. Elizabeth is
Got
going to come
one.
up behind you and just start almost pushing you forward, and I'm going to burn a drive to help you.
That way you don't have to roll at disadvantage.
So we're all rolling individually.
You can roll individually and we'll see how many fails we have.
I got a
Burn
1.
a drive.
Oh no.
oh no.
Quattro, 4.
That's
Also
a
4.
That's a 3. I'm going to use my learn from my mistakes here to just think. Never bring heals on an investigation and get a drive back in intuition.
Oh, you know what? I'll use my resistance.
Okay.
I didn't even think about that. I have 5.
That's better.
First 2 dice were 1s.
God.
I was like,
You all smell this overwhelming scent of vanilla. And not only are these petals on the ground, but they are whirling around you. And you see tendrils of the darkness reaching past you. And you hear him behind you as he whispers, "Run faster, kitties." But as you're running from him, there is this, not really an explosion, but the lights in the Belvedere have never run on electricity. They've always been candle lights. They've always been lanterns. And you see, there's your safety, the light ahead, and all you have to do is make it. Let's get one more roll and see if everyone makes it across the finish line.
Yeah. That's 2 2s.
I'm going to do this. Continue helping Raph as we move forward by burning a second drive here.
Yeah, I'm rolling. I'm going to burn another drive. Thank God.
You're
4.
You remembered you got drives.
I do. I did remember. I'm very proud that I remembered to do that.
Mine's a 2.
Mm.
Oh no.
I'm gonna burn my resistance here because that was a 3.
I don't
Hey,
have
that's
a
better.
turn.
I don't have a resistance anymore.
That's a 5 for me now.
If we stumble back together at all, again, like I said before, Raph would put himself between anybody else in the darkness first. And it would be. It's kind of like, when you're walking with somebody and you stand between them in the traffic type of thing. Like, it's very much that same reaction of if it's me, somebody else, and this darkness, it's going to be Raph first that gets scooped or hurt or anything like that in his mind.
I think maybe that's what trips us up because Emily has a similar instinct to get between whoever is with her and the bad thing. And so I think there's maybe part of it is we both sort of try to slow down to body shield the other and kind of run into each other.
Yeah.
By contrast, can I clarify something because I just saw something on my character sheet that I never clarified?
Mhm.
What is an illumination key?
Illumination key is like a personal quest you have to fulfill for your level up at the end of the game.
Never mind then, because it just says at the bottom 3 different things, and one of them says run into danger, and I was like, that's what Quinn's gonna do, just run straight into the unknown of this.
You'll have time. Yep.
You can.
I can, but I'm not going to. If it doesn't give me anything, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it
I
goes
got a
towards
4
your level up.
theory I should make it through.
So you're running and you see Elizabeth and Quinn. You get to the light and you're just within the light and you see the tendrils and they're fizzling out as they get closer towards the lantern light. But there's a moment that as you're standing under this lantern, you're the only two there. And you hear the whisper of, I win.
I turn back. Do I see Raph or Emily?
In this moment, it is a swirl of darkness and petals.
I have a flashlight.
I was holding a flashlight. I don't know if that does or changes anything.
Are you using it?
It's been on this whole time, so I don't know what exactly is happening, but yes.
So, from what I remember, you were kind of shining it on the ground to keep your walkway clear.
Yeah, I was kind of I was pointing it ahead and then at the ground and then ahead and at the ground to kind of see where we were going. But if darkness starts to close in on me, I would absolutely probably shine into the darkness.
So as you shine your flashlight into this darkness, and as Quinn is shining, you're watching Quinn from your side of it, you're watching the light eat away at the darkness, and you can see them inside of this tornado. But from Emily and Raph's point of view, when this light hits this face, it is like this white gossamer fabric draped over bone. And he otherwise looks like he's wearing his finest suit to go to a show somewhere with his top hat. And he grins until the light hits his face. And there is this high-pitched, just you would imagine it at this point would make somebody's ears bleed, but it's choked back as he tries to get away from the light as quick as possible.
I am going to. I don't see this thing in the smoke or in the dark. I just see them seemingly kind of stuck. I want to run in and try to grab both of them and pull them out. And I've got the flashlight just for visual purposes. 2 people, I got 2 hands. I just stick a flashlight in my mouth and I'm running. And I'm trying to like grab them and pull them. And the flashlight is right in front of me.
Yeah, I've got the
It's
light.
very uncomfortable.
I've got the light, and I'm just focusing my flashlight on this face in front of us. And kind of, because I have the light, sort of now actively putting myself between Raph and this thing and trying to back us both away.
Okay, 2 questions. 1, any of these petals flying around? Yep, grabbing at least one of them for later. And then I will, the second I see Quinn, when they run in, Raph would be like, oh, yeah, wonderful. And I will scoop this person up in between me and the darkness and start to leave with Quinn.
Emily's not a very big person. You pick her up quite easily.
Yeah, like, okay. You can fight this one later. Let's go. I'm saying
Absolutely am not fighting it. As soon as I feel it's moving back, I'm just letting you do whatever.
My voice is not at all like confident. As I say you can fight this one later, I'm just like, nope, we're leaving.
Oh, 100%.
I grab Raph's hand as he's got Emily in like a fireman's carry over his shoulder. Emily, I'm assuming, pointing the flashlight behind, and I'm pointing the flashlight forward. Were either of them gonna take a scar from that?
Not a scar.
Or a mark, sorry.
They would have took a bleed mark if he had been able to touch them.
Gotcha. I'm just keeping it because I've got something I can do to prevent that from happening. So
hang on to that.
Now, but that's fine. I will. Believe me, I will. We get back to Elizabeth,
who is in this moment throwing heels into the gutter. Never again am I running in those.
Emily looks at you from
you were still running in those? Oh my god. I have extra sneakers.
You'll see one that she has picked up, the heel broke mid-run. And she was just almost hopping ahead.
Jesus. Emily looks at you from still kind of in Raph's arms and goes, I told you needed better shoes.
I didn't know I was going to be running tonight. But thank you.
Hi, Goose.
Okay, put me down.
Oh, yes, of course. Put you down. Completely, like, that moment of like, oh yeah, I gotta do that still. Put you down. Are you okay?
I think so. Are you?
Yeah, you fought off the darkness very good. And he'd like give a golf clap and turn around and he'd look just like, God help me. Like to the side, like, oh fuck. He's trying very hard to keep that face on for everybody.
Raph wanted this life.
Yes, he does. Doesn't mean it's not scary.
Yeah, kind of pat you on the shoulder, like, okay.
Are you guys really okay?
Yes. Thank you.
More or less.
We could deal with the psychological damages later. Physically, we got to deal with that stuff first.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
Well, in good news, we're in the light.
That is good news.
Thank everything for good old-fashioned flame.
Yep. I'll turn the flashlight off to save battery.
I do the same, but I keep my thumb right on that the switch because I am convinced it's all going to go away soon.
So where are we?
You're in Belvedere Row. You are in what the beacon refers to as the center of hell. This is where all the sin in the city is, or at least the open part. The gas lanterns here and the gas lighting is purely for the aesthetic. Some of the buildings did have electricity, but most of it is run by fire. So you will have a district of light. But as you're walking through and you're finding your way to the street names that you have an idea of, Florence and Brighton, you realize they intersect. And on the corner, there is a little shop that on the window it says Sinclair's Dance Studio. Across the street is an abandoned theater that its box office has been boarded up. It's been closed for many years. Emily and Elizabeth can roll a focus. Quinn and Raph can roll survey. But as you're looking at this closed down theater, the other word on the business card was Eden. And this is the Eden Theater on the corner of Florence and Brighton.
I got a 5 looking around. Do I see Baron anywhere? No, just playing.
No, Baron's on the other side of town.
Like we're in the center of sin. Yeah, where's Baron?
On the other side of town. Maylene is also on the other side of town.
Oh, don't worry. I got a 1 and a 2. The 2's gilded at least, so I'll take that.
Got a 5.
I'm sorry, what were we rolling this time?
You're rolling survey.
That was what it was. Sorry. My brain
That's
farted.
fine.
Jesus. 5.
Awesome. The three of you recognize there is a person very hurriedly rushing into the Eden Theater. From this distance, Emily, you kind of think you recognize him from some of the political articles you've tried to be involved with.
Is it the guy who hired the PI? Or the husband? Or
from here, you have an idea that it might be.
Okay. I relay that to the group immediately. Quietly, but immediately.
So, this is... What kind of building is this?
It used to be a theater house, but it's been abandoned. It's kind of got the art deco that you expect to find in the Glimmer instead of here in...
So, like, okay. Raphael, having been, like, very into, like, his mom's work and everything else like that, is this something that I would have maybe... a place that I might have read about before, or, like, has anybody ever done a circle around this building at some point or did a mission around this? Like, would I be able to remember anything about, like, maybe a side entrance or another way to, like, look into the building? Like, you know what I mean? Like, looking at the building and just, like, kind of analyzing the front or the side of it. Like, is this something that, like, just off the rip, would this be something that I have read about before? If it's an old building.
I would have you roll for focus for analyze.
Okay.
It's not going to be a super high needed roll.
I have a bunch of that anyway. I'm gonna take the gilded, even though it's lower, but it's a 4.
Okay. With it being a playhouse, you kind of assume they have a side entrance for cast members or stage workers. You wouldn't be wrong. It's just a matter of which side do you want to take.
I would kind of note that to everybody is, like there is a side entrance to this place if we all want to maybe not go straight in the front door.
It's probably smart.
Seems like a smart idea, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there's light here, but the amount of chaos that we just came from. Yeah, I'd rather be cautious.
I guess.
And at this
Yeah,
point,
I'll lead.
You guys do find that there are more people filtering into the Belvedere because it does have light. Sorry. You guys are going in the side entrance?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
As you approach this doorway, you you notice there's webbing here, and it is a
I
lot
was going
like
to ask about that.
it
I
is
was
a
like,
lot like the
I
thick
was going to
webbing.
look for that.
Yeah,
God damn it.
the thick webbing that you found at the crime scene is wrapped up the railing for these stairs up to the side entrance. The door itself doesn't have any on it, but it seems to be caught on something. And it's propped open. And as you look down, there is this little cocoon blocking the door open. And I'm gonna say the little cocoon is probably about this size.
I have boots. I step on it.
Okay. I was worried it was baby sized.
Yeah, me too.
The second it's small like that. Yep, I got boots. It's done. Gone. I'm stepping on it.
No chest bursters? Cool. So how close is everyone to Wrath?
Unfortunately, very close, I think.
Yeah.
So is he?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Seeing as I was planning on looking for spider webs anyways, I think I was like right next to him, if not like right in front of him.
I think Elizabeth is like a step back so she can make sure that things are clear enough. She's not going to cut her feet open on the way in.
Oh, I go into my duffel bag and I throw you a pair of my gym shoes that are very stinky. But you get some sneakers.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got shoes.
That's going to be very helpful.
Yeah.
As Raph steps on this little cocoon, there's this weird crunch and squelching noise. And the Elizabeth, your bleed detector goes off as you see this neon ichor kind of ooze out from under his foot.
Lovely. A perfect E-sharp, and I'm guessing it looks very similar to what we found at the crime scene.
Mhm. And
Can I
when
just
Raph
grab Raph and pull him back?
when, when Raph's foot comes out of this, you realize it's an egg. There are
Mhm.
8 little limbs.
He's dead now.
Is it?
Oh no, I'm getting pulled away. I would have made sure.
And I do mean like this.
Just hugging his foot? Just hugging his foot, or is it in the
It's
egg?
stuck in the egg, but like that's how big it is. In the egg.
Begrudgingly, Quinn looks over into it. Is it dead? Is it moving?
Its
What do we see?
leg is twitching.
Oh,
No, Elizabeth ain't playing
Who
that
has a
game.
bat?
She
Who
pulls
has a bat? I need a bat.
I don't have a bat, but I have a knife, and I'll pull a knife out
Or
of
a
my purse and
rock.
just stab it.
I'm not. Yeah, you can stab it. I'm not getting close to that. I want to like hit it with something that's long.
Like my leg. Yes, I could have stepped on it again.
that was stupid. Don't do that again.
Stupid. We made a deal.
Oh,
I take care of the spiders. You do the heights. Remember, we did this.
yes, we did talk about that, but like, I can't remember. Did we tell you guys how it looked? How the body looked?
Yep.
From like, we told you it like. Look,
And then
I do not know you very well. I met you a couple hours ago. But no, I wouldn't ask for that to be on anybody. And not only have you just killed this thing, you just killed a baby thing. And that means I don't know how maternal spiders get, but like I don't want to find out.
I didn't even think about that. That could have been full of actual spiders that could have.
Yeah, it could have been full of little ones. It could have erupted.
Ugh.
A volcano of spider babies.
That would have been unfortunate.
And yet then you would have been a faceless husk of a person in a cocoon.
Raph doesn't have a very good reaction to that, other than just, ugh.
You guys
Yeah.
hear a gunshot.
Exactly.
You said
I
you hear a
grab my
gunshot?
gun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
fun.
grab my gun.
From inside the building.
Looks like it's now or never.
I look at them and I've got my gun. I'm like, I'm going in first.
I'll follow up the rear.
Mostly because I don't want to have to shoot over you people's heads and accidentally try not to hit you all.
I don't know what you're talking about. If they're shorter than you, there's no penalty. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if they're shorter than me. We never established heights.
Sorry,
And even if they're short,
that's a joke
He's like
from another
5'2",
game.
so to say that he's shorter.
it's also just like you have to be significantly shorter for it to even matter.
So you're running into the side entrance of this building, and there are spider webs everywhere. So thick you could press against it. There are more cocoons on the ground, in the webbing above you. You can see and hear shouting and arguing from your left, which you kind of assume is where the stage would be. The bleed reader is still buzzing.
I'm going to silence it and stow it in the purse, so we might have a little bit more of a chance of surprising whatever this is.
If anybody would be paying attention to Raph at all, and from at the back, he's like going through pockets, like pulling stuff out, and like looking like it's like throwing crayons behind him, like he's like just looking through stuff in his pockets for something, but he's keeping up pace.
These poor crayons.
Quinn is like ready to run. Like they are honed in on whatever is happening. Scared shitless, but running nonetheless.
As you go, I think Elizabeth will put a hand on your shoulder and just quiet. We don't know what's out there.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You can hear
speed walking.
speed walking. You can hear a man shouting for Andres to come back. You hear him desperately saying, "I don't want to hurt you." And from the stage, you also hear a voice speaking. And you hear multiple voices speaking around you. As it all says, you will be useful in the future. And Quinn, I need for you to roll me a focus.
I will give her one of my drive to help with that.
Oh, thank you.
And as you all round this section, you can see onto the stage, and you see what you remember being Andres from the picture in the file. And you can see the representative, Mick. But as Andres is speaking to Mick, Quinn, you recognize the voice as your wife's.
Oh, God damn it. My Quinn's been holding the gun up, like ready to fire, and it drops ever so slightly. And I hear her voice coming out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I think I look around, trying to see if there's any other way that anyone else is there. Like throwing their voice, some sort of magic trick that it couldn't be that her voice is coming from someone else.
There is this moment as you watch Andres' body is not touching the ground. And you watch as it dangles, and this appendage is reaching out from behind the curtain. And as it moves forward to follow this body, you realize this is attached to a spider that is the size of a car. And along its back are multiple faces. And there's this pause, and you see the horror on Mick's face moments before this another appendage stabs through his chest. You have found what is killing people and leaving them faceless around New Brexin. for what Quinn knows and what Emily knows has been a year, not 7 months.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw it move, have I ever seen movement like that before? Of something that looked like a person but wasn't?
You can roll focus to see if you remember.
Yep. I don't feel
We'll call it a high stakes.
cool. I would have put a drive on it then.
Sorry. You can
That's
add
fine.
it.
Yeah, I'll add the drive.
Sorry, I was trying to think very quickly of how high a stakes that would
Oh,
be.
good. Ooh, okay, that's a 4.
You know, when spiders are stalking, they move like that. But this one seems to be using an angler, like an anglerfish.
Under. Sorry, caught myself. You just hear Raphael kind of mumbling to himself a little bit, and he kind of like taps Quinn's shoulder as he goes past, kind of like almost snapping them out of looking around, like trying to help with the focus. And he'd look back at everybody, trying to get like their eye contact, like, we're doing this, right? And I just need a confirmation from everybody before he turns around and walks straight out into this thing.
I grab his hand and pull him back for a second.
It's not like we can go backwards now.
No, I need to be sure. Give me 2 minutes. I need to be sure.
I don't know if we have 2 minutes, but
Yeah.
I think I'm picking up on whatever it I think I've clocked what's going on with you.
I look at Emily, and you just see Quinn mouth. It's Nora.
Okay.
Almost like they're saying it in a whisper, so quiet that all you see is their lips moving. They turn and they look at this beast, and they yell out, "Nora! Hey, Nora, I'm home!"
There is a moment where the body on the angler loses features. It looks like a mannequin you would dress up. And there's a shift of the faces on its back as it kind of searches the memories it's absorbed. And you see that Mick has been added to these faces. And there's a moment and then a ripple down the body as it changes. And Quinn, what did Nora look like the last time you saw her?
Nora was a beautiful, tall woman with curly brown hair cascading down her back, with eyes a deep, rich chocolate, and a quirky, kooky little grin anytime she looked over at me. She was always perfect, but always wanted to fight who she was, what she looked like. She always felt like she was never enough, when to me she was the world. So to me, she was perfect. That's what she looked like. She was perfect. I see her body, her face, the soft features, the nice plumpness of her cheek that kind of just perfectly rounds out her face. I see the big doe eyes, and it's been a year of me fighting reality, fighting the truth, and seeing everything I've seen tonight. I had to finally face the fact that she's gone, as horrifying as it is. And I'm just happy I get to see her one more time. I see her body, I see her standing there. I walk up to her. I look at her and I'm like, Nora, you look so beautiful today. You look beautiful every day, but there's something special about today. And I take the gun that's in my pocket. I keep it in my pocket for a few moments still. And I look at her and I just go, I could really use a hug. It's been a really tough day for me. Can I get a hug?
And you see this body that you know is not her because you buried her body. No matter how much in denial you were, you had the opportunity to bury her body. And you see it hold her arms out. And she gives you that smile.
I go in for a hug. I pull the gun out of my pocket and shoot her in the head.
That is a finesse roll. A control? It's control in this one. It's finesse in the other one. It's control in this one.
I would like to burn. Can I burn multiple drives on one thing or just one?
You can burn up to 6 drives.
I'm going to burn 2 drives. That's a 6.
Fantastic. You shoot this body and then it loses features. And everyone hears this thing just let out this in-pained animal screech as it rears back on the back half of its body. It is large. And as it slams down around Quinn and it's still screaming and screeching, you watch as one of its, not a mandible because those are right here, one of its appendages strikes at Quinn. And Quinn, you can roll move, and everyone else can react.
Or
I would say Raphael was ready to go before she walked up and did all this, but you all would be looking and his hands are covered in chalk. Like, it looks like he has like chalked his hands almost. And he's like holding the bullet from before in his hand, like this is just the moment. And he finally hears a gunshot and goes, oh, finally. And he hits the top of the bullet, and it almost looks like he pulls light out of his hands. The chalk forms up, and this is my ghost blade. And so it looks like a large like sword of light. And he would just turn around and be like, all right, well then let's go ahead and do this then. And he would like walk towards this thing, and anybody that's looking at him like for real would see his hand shaking. Like, this is the first time going on a roller coaster. This is the first time skydiving. This is the first time doing something that you want to do, but you are terrified to do it. And he would be as loud as possible, hoping to get whatever attention he can from this giant thing. and he'd be like, "You know, I had to waste a bullet for this," and I would swing at one of its legs.
I am going to preface this with every roll from here out is high stakes. So you're going to need a 5 or better to not get hit. Quinn got scratched very deeply.
So is that a
In the
bleed
leg.
or a body? Body.
It would be a
mark?
body. Yes.
Got it.
Elizabeth, while Quinn was approaching, while they were talking to the spider, shaky hands finally seeing something real, is
Something right.
going to pull out that green vial that we had, open it up,
It's not
and
Bruno.
just... What's that?
I said it's not Bruno.
Oh. After all the times I've found Bruno in people's walls, it's not him this time. But I'll take that green vial out while they are approaching and just shaky hands undo it. And I can only guess what this is, but let's see what it does if I coat the knife with it. And I'll coat my knife in that green and get ready to run up and stab it myself.
So everyone who's making... Sorry, go ahead. I was going to have them
As
roll
I-
and then let you go.
Yeah, I was. Go ahead and do that because that might change what I do. So
Everyone who's attacking, go ahead and roll. Strike. And Emily, what are you planning to do?
I'm either going to run to Quinn and try to, seeing that they've been cut, and try to like get them away, or I'm going to basically try to confuse this thing even more by running to another part of the space and yelling. It depends on how successful the others are, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I burned a drive because I got a 5. It would have been a 2.
Am I rolling something?
Yes, you're rolling strike as well. Because you wanted to hit it too, right?
Yeah. It's 6.
Fantastic. As Raph runs up and he hits it with this glowing sword. Basically, is it a lightsaber or is it just this spectral kind of light that...
It looks just like if a kid was to draw like a sword in somebody's hand, that like it looks like a cartoon. It looks like something straight out Chalk Zone.
No, because all I can imagine is it looks like a kid drew the Buster Sword.
Yeah.
And you watch as it lodges into the side of this spider, into the body of it. And there is this brief gush of the neon green ichor that you've seen this whole time, that you know the little ones give off when they're squished. And it is just this spray of it before it runs down into the ground or onto the floor. And Elizabeth stabs it and gets a stab into one of the legs. And there's this little spurt of ichor coming up the blade. And after a moment, you watch as little yellow veins start branching where you stabbed on the leg.
It's either a really good sign or a really bad sign.
Yep. Seeing that they've sort of successfully got its attention, I'll run in, and I think Emily is terrified, and she knows that there's not a lot she can do against something this big and this scary. Like she's good at looking for answers, but now that she's seeing a physical thing, she's realizing, maybe not exactly for the first time, but she's realizing there's nothing she can do, but she has spent so much of her life just making sure that other people are taken care of, and so she runs to Quinn and is going to try to pull her away because this is the one thing she knows how to do. Pull them away, excuse me.
What is in front of Quinn after shooting the angler portion of this thing, this beast?
Right now, you're face to face with it. The mandibles are right here at you. Well, they were until it got stabbed. And now it has tried to turn towards the large sword in its side.
Okay. Ears ringing because I just shot a gun point blank from my head. I think not realizing that Emily is coming up. I'm gonna want to try and shoot it again. And I'm gonna tell you now, I am not a good. I've got disadvantage in finesse.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not a good shot.
Hey, you did great the first one. Let's see if you can do it again.
I had to burn my last 2 drives. All I have left is a resistance, and I'm not burning that yet. But
retroactively, I have 2 drives left in nerve. I would give her one of my drives to, just because like I said, I was being loud. I have a giant like laser pointer on my hand. I'm trying to take the attention, so I would think that would help her at least get a better aim shot at the side of it.
if GM will allow it, I'll take it. Okay. That's a 4, so that doesn't pass. But it's better than I would have gotten before. I got a 6 and a 1 on the disadvantage roll, so.
That would have been really bad.
Like then we both get
Yeah.
a drive back because we used our circle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good to know. I forgot about that.
Yep.
And on that ability, you can put it in any of your drives.
Yep.
I'm going to put it in the one that I have none in. Perfect.
So all of you, you're very close to this very large spider that is bleeding, and Emily, you're reaching Quinn now as another shot rings out. This one doesn't hit as true as the first one did, but there is this panic. There's a lot going on. And are you pulling Quinn back, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull them out of the way of like I see this thing's flailing around. I'm just trying to pull them away, especially seeing that they took that mark.
I kind of resist it, but I begrudgingly kind of like back up with my back to Emily, keeping an eye on this thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, essentially, if I'm setting it up so that if Emily takes a mark, I will take it instead.
This thing presently lashes out at Raph, and Raph is going to have to make a move roll. But you see it turning, and you see it's no longer using the appendage anymore because it's figured out there's nothing to be gained from here. Now it is kill everything to feed the babies. And what did you roll for move?
Well, Raph rolled a 2 because
Raph rolled a
Raph
2.
has disadvantage on move.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Raph takes a body as this thing doesn't stab you this time. It leans forward and its mandibles pinch into your arm as it bites down. And you feel this burning as it's biting. What is everyone else doing?
I'm going to pull my flashlight back out. Still kind of got one hand like almost on Quinn's back. And I pull my flashlight out and I shine it directly at the spider. And I'm going to just yell, "Drop it!" Like I'm scolding a dog.
Did I tell you to take a body, Raph?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. So you notice as you shine this flashlight on it, unlike the other creatures you've run into, this isn't injured by the light.
Oh no.
So what kind of shirt is Raph wearing? Like, is it long sleeves?
No.
Okay. How close is Elizabeth?
Oh, pretty damn close.
Fool.
Where he hit with the blade, I would have been like the next leg over, stabbing it.
I'm gonna have you roll focus.
Okay. I'll burn a drive on that. That's a 3 as my highest, but it's the gilded die.
That sucks.
I will use learn from my mistakes again and just. I think the mistake she's going to try and learn from here is keep your eye on the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put that drive back in nerve, so I actually have one.
So, has everyone got any reactions they want to make?
I still have something to do because the spider bit me.
You can pull away.
That's not who I am.
If I look at this thing, can I don't know, do a survey or something to see if I can, or even a read, something to give me an indication as to if there's a weak point on this beast?
Sure. Let's go with whichever one you feel best.
So since they're taking a second. Oh, okay.
Sorry, cats were just going psychotic. I had to shut the door. I'm gonna do read, because it is gilded, and I will burn a drive on it. How did you open that door? I just shut the door and one of them opened it. And it's a knob. I swear to God, these fucking cats.
Cats have opposable thumbs.
They do. My gilded die was the good one. So that's a 5 in read.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I want to try and see if I can find a weak point on this thing.
You understand that, like most creatures, shooting it in the head would probably kill it. But its head is presently kind of wrapped around Raph's arm. But you do know with enough body shots, you could kill it.
I yelled at everyone else, get it off of Raph. And I would like to run over and physically try to pull it off of him. Pull him out of the mouth.
Well, the second it bit down on Raphael, I think that there would be this like he would one make this loud like ah like scream type of like you'd feel it in the air, and then through him like gritting through it in the most like I'm repeating this because I've heard it before sort of way, in the way like he's trying to just say anything, but he would just say, well, that's right, just keep your eyes on me then, and he would like hold like try and grab anything inside its mouth as possible, but I'm gonna take the sword and try and shove it through its side of its head into my own arm if I have to.
When Raph speaks, you hear all of the faces on this thing's back also in his voice say, keep your eyes on me then. And
Oh,
Raph, you
fuck.
start to feel your arm that it's biting down on tingle and go numb.
Yep.
But Elizabeth, you notice the leg that you stabbed is starting to not be able to support the spider's body weight.
I think in noticing that, Elizabeth is going to take more of that vial to coat the knife again and get ready to stab wherever she can without risking stabbing Raph.
Love that we're all not risking stabbing me when Raph is definitely stabbing himself if he has to.
Oh, I got a plan. I got a plan.
You wanted to try and pull the mouth off of Raph. So roll I think that would be strike.
Fucking hope so, because that's what I'm good at.
I was going to give you the option, and I remembered you didn't have anything in control, so...
Nope, I got Jack in control and 2 in strike, and I'm going to burn my drive to get 3 dice. There's a 6 in there, so yeah. I got 4, 5, 6.
Ooh. So you feel the relief of pressure as this thing's mandibles are being pulled off of your arm. And its little fangs, I think they're all called mandibles, as it's pulling out of your skin. And Quinn is pulling this mouth apart. And you're getting ready to stab it again. Do you want to roll to hit while this is happening?
Sure. It's a 5.
So as Quinn's pulled the mouth and you've went to preparing to stab through your own arm, instead you get to stab this blade into the side of into the shoulder next to its head and its front pair of legs. And you watch as the ichor rushes up the blade from this stab wound. Emily, what are you doing?
I think Emily is once again caught in that realization that there's not a lot she can do. That like everything she's good at is not fighting something like this, and has been just trying to think of literally anything she can do, and had is actively pulling out effectively like a fountain pen out of her pocket because it's the one like sharp thing she has, and I am moving around to try to get up to the side of the body, and I'm going to try and stab it in one of the eyes with this pen.
Mhm.
And again, just go, I said drop it.
Let's roll strike for that.
Ha! Cool. I will burn a drive to not roll at disadvantage.
Just to throw the note, it's a 6 on strike for Elizabeth's swing.
Fantastic. So you stab it again, and this time
Yeah.
you see the same effect of these yellow veining. And you've stabbed a little closer to the body this time. And you're noticing that the leg you stabbed a moment ago is... It's still touching the ground, but that part of the body is kind of leaning. Like it's starting to try to move its legs underneath it to hold itself up and compensate for that loss of limb.
Well, I'm not helping because I got a 2.
You got a 2.
It makes sense since I'm attacking a car-sized spider with a fountain pen.
Emily goes to stab this thing, and like all the faces on it yell at her to drop it. But it's not in your voice. It's in this mixture of voices. And I need for Emily for you to make a move roll.
Cool. The other thing was in the back of Emily's mind as she's watching all of this go down. I don't recognize any of the voices, do I?
You might, but that would be a focus roll.
Cool. I'll make this move roll first, and then I'll make that focus roll. 6 on the move. Thank goodness for that extra dice, because the other one was a 3. And then the focus is 4.
So other than the Mick Aguilar that you saw just get absorbed, you feel like you do recognize some of the other voices, but right now is not the time, because as you move, you notice there are babies swarming the stage.
Oh, no.
And you hear them in their multitude of voices screeching, "Be useful!" Are we attacking the spider some more?
I think if Elizabeth sees the babies swarming, she'll actually pull a modified oil lamp out of her purse
Mm-hmm.
and just try to toss it to Emily. It lights itself, smash it on those spiders.
I will try to throw it at the largest concentration of spiders and like smash into the ground in front of them.
I think normally I would call that a control, but we're going to say a control or a strike, not a move.
They both suck equally.
Can I burn
Real
a
question is,
drive to give her a die here? Just as a, hey, Elizabeth is trying to guide you to where to throw this from as best she can.
Sure.
The question is, do I burn my last nerve drive on this? Let me see.
Quinn and Raph.
Yeah.
If you're going to attack again, you can go ahead and roll a strike or a move to get away from it. Or if you're going to shoot it, we're gonna say you can roll control as normal.
I'm not worried about shooting it. Believe me, I'm not. I've got things in mind here.
Ooh.
I would like seeing Raph almost getting like sucked up into this beast. I would like to use my explorer ability, not again,
Mm-hmm.
to get an automatic full success on shooting this thing.
Okay.
I will take take a scar.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. A scar or a mark?
Nope. Once per assignments, you may take a scar to have an automatic full success on an action. If you do, it's as if you've had the scar all along.
High risk, high rewards. I like it.
So
Mhm.
I would like to, as I'm pulling his arm out of this beast, I'm jamming my hand into it and shooting it up into its brain. Or whatever spiders have there.
I rolled 2 ones to smash the thing, which does mean we get drive points back.
Oh
I'll
no.
roll a move.
Yeah.
I'll roll a move to like, as she shoots up into its brain, I'm just gonna kind of crawl away a little bit, noticing that my left arm is all jacked up now. And that is a 3 on disadvantage.
I think for flavor, I think I'm trying to look and make sure Raph is okay, which is why I miss my shot completely with the lantern. As I'm also watching Quinn stick their arm into this thing's mouth.
Yep.
So it's this moment of chaos. Elizabeth has tossed this lantern, and Emily caught it and then kind of hot potatoed it a little too far behind
Hot potato
the
too close
baby.
to the sun.
And Raph is crawling away, and your left arm is, for all intents and purpose, right now, you feel the numbness moving further up. And it is just this bang that you hear that sounds like it's going off inside of a drum. And this moment of stillness as all of the faces kind of lose the light behind their eyes. And the legs lose the ability to hold the body. And as it drops, part of the limbs, the way it's landed, it's kind of pinning against Raph. But you killed it. The babies are screaming. But they're fleeing in droves into this hole in the stage that you assume leads underneath the stage. And all you can hear them shouting is, "To the mother, to the mother, to the mother." Not this mother in front of you.
Oh no.
If they run, I'd like to take one of the glass boxes we got and try and catch one of the spiders and store it inside that box.
That's a move or a control for you.
Awesome. I am gilded in control, so we'll take control here. And I'm going to burn my last nerve drive for that. Hey, that's a 6.
You managed to catch one. A very little one. You're lucky it's not one of the big ones. It's a very little one, about yay big. All the way around.
Just
I
a little
am
spider.
stuffing it in that glass box and holding it shut.
Raph is still underneath the spider.
Underneath its legs, yeah.
I'm gonna help him get out.
That was a good shot.
Yeah,
I-
I'm also going over to help Raph at this point.
we can talk about it later. Let's get you out of here.
Well, I don't intend to stay.
Yeah.
Anywhere that there was chalk before on his hands, anybody would see. You'd be able to see it. It looks like a layer of his skin has been torn off because I have to take a bleed to create my sword.
I think I look at Elizabeth and I go, how close are we to your house?
Well, and you said Belvedere was about a halfway point for us from where we were at?
Your options from here, you could either go to Elizabeth's house or you could go back to your chapter house.
I hate to impose, but I don't think we want to go back to the printing press room. We'd have to get through all of the darkness again.
The way to.
Chance? Yeah, any chance we know if your path back to your house is any safer?
I can ask around if someone can hold on to this, and I hold up the glass boxed spider.
I look at Raph. Can you run?
Yes. Do we not have to stay and kill the rest of the spiders?
I think they're going home to mommy.
So no, we don't. Okay.
Not right now.
I mean, it doesn't hurt if we just squish as many eggs on our way out as possible, I guess.
Oh, now, okay, yeah.
I don't know. Okay? You know, I just went through a big emotional revelation. Just kill him with fire.
Yeah. More feet.
And I'll look over to where the lantern did land and see if it has caught this building at all.
It landed on the carpet, so it has caught fire. And in the flickering light, you do notice there are bodies sitting in the seats, as if they're watching a play on the stage.
Shit. We should get some people out of here. Or at least the bodies.
Do they have faces?
You can't tell from here. They're wrapped up in cocoons, but you kind of you could assume from every other victim this spider has run into, they likely don't.
Is it closer to get to the front door right now or back to the side door we came in?
If you head towards the front door, you will have to move through what is left of these spiders that are fleeing.
Never mind.
Let's go back the way we came. Because that's a
While
shit
Elizabeth
show.
is doing the math of how we get out of here, Emily's pulled a handkerchief out and handed it to Quinn and been like, tried to stop the bleeding, and is doing the same for Raph. And it's like, let me see your arm, and has just gone into full again, just focusing on the thing she knows how to do.
Yeah, you look at Quinn's arm and it's not bleeding. You just see around the forearm, it looks like basically a ring of acid burns right around where, when they stuck their hand in, where the mouth and where the pincers would have been kind of touching. But it looks like it's been healed, almost like it's been there for years. But yeah, they don't look like they're really in any bad shape.
Didn't you take a mark from the thing scratching you?
Oh yeah, I'm okay now. I'm okay. It's only 1 mark. It's fine. I could take more.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Emily's still mother henning. She's gonna be like,
I'm good. I
"You're
completely
bleeding
forgot about
here."
that. I think Quinn also completely forgot about that. It just went, well, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm good. You know, it's all fine.
Yeah, I think you can tell that this is Emily's, like, this is what she can do. Like, she's rattled, and this is just how she's coping, is by focusing on everybody else and not herself in a very kind of brisk way.
I'm going to assume somebody ushers Emily's mother henning out because the building is
Yeah.
on fire.
Yeah. No, I think
I mean,
as
I move, but
yeah, I think as soon as like she starts doing all this stuff and we realize that Raph is we're managing his injuries, I'll just start being like, let's get going. Elizabeth's got the way out. We got this out. We got to get out. We got to not die. Still.
Elizabeth was going to ask
Side door, not the
something.
front. I'm saying side door, not the front, and looking. Pretty much everyone has their hands full, aside from maybe. Well, no, I think everyone's got their hands full at the moment.
Yeah,
And I'll just glance over at me.
I still got a gun out, holding get ready, and the flashlight in the other, and I grab my bag that was strewn wherever during the fight and throw that back over my shoulder. Not leaving my duffel bag anywhere. It's fine. Gym bro for life.
I think if anyone has hands free, Elizabeth will say, "We can at least grab Mick's body and get it out of here.
Oh,
Take
shit.
him with us."
I look at Emily. I don't want to make you take the gun, but I also know you can't carry Mick.
I was gonna say, I'm not strong enough to carry an adult man. Emily will just take the gun.
I hand the gun and the flashlight over to Emily. I know she already has one, but I don't have anywhere else to put it, and I don't want to put it away.
I'll put my flashlight in my pocket, and I'll take yours and the gun. And it's definitely, she's not holding the gun like she knows how to use it, but she's also like not holding it completely ineptly.
I go over and I pick up Mick's body. Firemen carry him outside. I'm assuming he's not like a 250-pound man. Like, not assuming he's like a. I don't know how much Quinn can carry, but Quinn is strong. Quinn is strong. I don't know how much adult men weigh, so I don't know how much he weighs.
We're going to say it slows you down a little bit.
That's fine. I would say it definitely would slow me down.
So as you're all moving out, even out here, you do notice spiders still fleeing. Like they didn't all go the same direction, but they seem to be headed towards the sewers. And that's where you saw them go earlier at the crime scene. Was they seem to have left through the sewers. Now, everyone knows the sewers only lead to Old Brexin. Leads to ruins and not anything good. But that's a note for later and somebody else's problem, you hope. As you're making it through the Belvedere heading towards the Pearl, you notice it's getting crowded here. A lot of people that they very much look like they have never been in this district before are here. But there's light and there's safety. What are you doing with Mick's body once you get out of the building?
think
Looking
with
at Mick,
everybody. Mm-hmm.
he's faceless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that face went onto the other spider.
Mhm.
If we leave him somewhere quiet, we can let Candela know that we've got another faceless body on our hands. This will at least know who it is.
I was gonna say the same thing. That we find a safe place to leave him away from the crowds because they don't need to see this. But I also can't carry him all the way to your house.
But I use, again, Emily has spent a lot of time just walking the streets of this city, talking to people. I would like to use I know a guy to see if I know someone who has a place here where we could keep the body.
Hmm.
This is the most morbid use of
Emily
this
just has
ever.
Emily just
You know,
has
a
someone to help
morgue.
them hide bodies.
You know, a mortician with their own like.
It's more like, do I know anyone? It's more like, am I on good terms with anyone who has an establishment here who I could then convince to help us?
I have this body guy. His name's Dexter. No, go ahead.
Ignore the fact that there is no face. It's totally fine.
So, you know plenty of people here. The problem is thinking of somebody that is not going to be put off by the state of this body. And you do know a guy. And you know that they're not exactly the kind of person you want to meet with in a dark alley. But you know you're going to have to go through the dark alley, or dark-ish alley, to the back door of an establishment called the Velvet Petal. And as you get there, you do see a very large man on his smoke break. And you recognize him as Joe, the bouncer for the Velvet Petal. And he is your no questions asked guy who kind of knows everybody in the Belvedere. And if he doesn't know them, he knows somebody who does know them.
I try to shake off everything that's happened, and sort of approach. And I look at him and I go, "Weird night."
He's in the middle of his smoke break and he says, "Yeah, don't know what everyone's talking about. There's no power. We ain't ever had power."
Yeah, seems like a good thing. I'm about to make your night weirder. And I sort of shift so he can see. We need a private place to put a body so it can be retrieved by the appropriate folks later. No, I didn't kill anybody before you ask.
You see him and he's got his cigarette and he just kind of points towards, there are some trash cans lined up. And while it's not ideal, you know typically that is where a drunk or someone who is high would sit next to after they've passed out.
Was he suggesting we lean the body up there and basically make it look like?
Mm-hmm. And this is Joey asks no questions. He just knows people.
All right. And I'll sort of gesture to Quinn, and I look at him and I go, "Thank you."
I kind of carry him over. I'm like, out of respect, give me a second before where can I put him? And I've got it like face down over my shoulder. This is gonna get weird.
Yeah. I will sort of gesture to the ground again and be like, "Apparently right there."
Perfect. I bring him over and I very quickly go into my gym bag, pull out a t-shirt, and I'm like, just to be respectful, and I put his head in the t-shirt, covering up his lack thereof of face. And yeah, and I just go, I don't need the t-shirt back. We got some people who will come and pick him up, but just out of, he got it's just out of respect for the dead, if we could just leave the shroud, the very impromptu shroud over his face, I think that would be appreciated.
And Joe's kind of looking at it. He goes, "And I think you might need a shroud for the open heart surgery he had too."
Mm.
Oh,
What about
okay.
that?
I grab a pair of sweatpants and I cover the hole in his chest
Tuck him
with
in.
that. I'm like, would you rather this or the pants on the head? It's one or the other. Yeah, I can't do both. I'm working with what we got. I'm running out of gym clothes now.
He kind of points up towards the sign above the door, and it says the Velvet Petal. And I don't know if Quinn would know really what this place is, but Raph might. Emily does kind of know what the place is because the Belvedere does tend to host those confidential, off the book meetings for reporters and politicians. But this is one of those places. He's very used to seeing odd things, even though this is a little higher up on the list of odd things.
I think the pants are fine. Just tuck him in and we should probably keep moving.
As we go to move on, Elizabeth will just look over. Maybe stay away from the old Eden Theater. Not safe over there right now.
Good point.
Joe kind of nods. Can't say the last time I've been there. Good luck.
Thanks.
So Elizabeth's house?
We need to see if
I watch what I eat, but I could really go for a whiskey.
before we head there, I need to see if there's even power in that direction, or if we're running into the dark. And still holding the glass box, she'll try and offer it off to someone else to hold. If I'm going to be talking to people, they don't need to see big spider.
Oh, I take it and I put it in my gym bag that is now very empty because it has nothing left in it.
Just clothes left and right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Elizabeth's wearing my shoes. I think there's just like a sports bra in the bag at this point.
Yeah.
There's a little nod as you put it in there, and Elizabeth's going to slip out and try and ask around the crowd.
I will shadow you just because I don't think anyone should go off on their own.
Raph, roll a let's say a not a read, it's the sense one. Is it read? I don't have my book in front of me.
There is sense at the bottom.
Yes, that one.
All right. That is a 5.
You can feel the numbness spreading further into your chest from your arm. And you're getting the impression that this thing bit you with a venom that is meant to paralyze. And you need to mark a bleed.
Oh, so I have a scar now, right? 3 equals scar? Or 4?
4.
Oh, one more.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way for me to narratively take that for you. Well, I mean, there is one way I could.
Just start sucking out the poison.
Exactly. Oh, but I'm out of nerve drives. Never mind, I can't. Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't have any nerve drives. I can't help you.
I'd like kind of like hold my chest a little bit. Excuse me, Quinn. And I kind of like gesture to the bite and say, maybe this is worse than tightness in my chest now.
Okay. Like heart attack or
Feels like spider. Maybe there was venom, or we should probably get going to the next.
we gotta get going. Trying to think. Quinn's been through the different survival classes and everything. If it's okay, I'll carry you as best I can. The less your heart beats more than normal, the better. If we don't spread it through your body quicker. Or at the very least, lean on me so that you don't have to use as much energy.
Yeah. No, that sounds fine.
I could give you a piggyback ride.
I feel like maybe that will slow us down too much. Let's find Aresa. Yes?
Yes, let's find Raisa. And I just kind of sling arm over his shoulder and kind of help carry half his weight on myself while he walks.
Elizabeth, you hear people talking about they didn't want to come to the Belvedere, but if their options were between here and the mire, they would rather be here. Because nobody who doesn't live in Pandora Plaza is getting in Pandora Plaza. So they have their own place that's lit in the parks there. And you hear them talking about at least here is safe. At least here has light. So you can you gather the information that presently the only places that still have light are places with parks, places too poor to have electricity, and the place that aesthetically just didn't want it. So you know the Pearl is going to be dark.
Yep. I think as we move through, Emily, you'll just hear, "Oh, Gunther, I hope you're all right."
Who?
And
She almost like
start heading.
reflexively.
And about this time, Quinn and Raph approach. And you notice Quinn is kind of helping support Raph.
You don't look good.
I gotcha, buddy. We can do this. One foot in front of the other.
Let's just.
I'm afraid I've only got more bad news.
Oh, don't tell me there's nothing.
Options are here, the Mire, or Parks. Dark everywhere else.
Question. Where in the city would my apartment be?
I think that would depend on where you want it to be. Theoretically, you could live in the borough, which is kind of half electricity and half firelight. Or you could live in Blackmire, which you would have been closer to the original crime scene. You know, they have firelight down there because, well, it's like the poorest part of the city.
Yeah.
Or you could have lived in the Greenwood district, which has a lot of parks.
I suspect Greenwood would be out of her price range. Of the Mire and the Borough, which is closer to where the Gazette is? Because that probably would have been a factor.
Probably the borough.
I think then my apartment's probably in the Borough. Is
that
a place we can get to?
So if you remember from the map you looked at, Emily would remember that the Belvedere is between Tinkergate, the Borough, the Pearl, and the Steelmire, and just a little piece of it connects to Nightingale Harbor.
Okay. I will sigh deeply, knowing that my apartment is very small and very cheap. And I will say, I think I live closer and I might still have power or light. And if I don't, I think there are oil lamps that the old lady who used to live there kept. We can try that.
Might be our best bet of getting a hold of Candela, or having them find us.
Yeah. I made the bird leave. Damn. Okay, let's go. And I will start to lead the way without explaining the bird thing any further.
Nobody asked.
There is a slightly flabbergasted look on Elizabeth's face. Like, why would you make a bird leave?
I think Quinn's just looking around and looking as we're walking, realizing that they also live in the same borough, like this in the borough, but in a different part of it. Being like, oh, well, my house is farther, but like, I don't know. And just is like interesting, another part of this weird town, or town that I know. And they're definitely last in the pack, carrying. I think at this point, with the paralysis venom spreading, they're almost definitely like mostly carrying Raph at this point.
Yeah, I'm being drug along.
As you're passing, you hear talk of the dark districts, and you hear talk of the trains that move through the city. They're still working, but they're being parked in the dark districts because the trains that when they leave the city, they have to travel through the darkness anyway, so they have to have some form of light. If you could have found a train that was still moving through the dark areas, you could have moved to the Pearl or back to the Gazette archives. But Emily's house is closer than either one of those options. And as you're approaching this building, in the dim light of the oil lanterns here, you see a little light at the end of a cigarette and a very long, fancy little cigarette holder. And Madam is standing outside your apartment's front door as if she's waiting. The very squat old lady with her white hair up in a bun. Now, Emily was introduced from a bird.
I was gonna say, I never met her.
The rest of you, however, have met Madam.
Auntie.
She's just shaking.
I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. It's been a really long night. Can you help him? He seems to know you.
You see her as she looks up at him. And she has this look of, I don't understand why you can't stay out of trouble.
You didn't teach me to do none of those things.
I didn't teach you to do anything.
Exactly. And I sit down next to her.
And you see as she reaches and she taps this cigarette on his arm. And there is this moment that you see the venom in his veins start to glow.
I swear, if you have magic cigarettes that could have helped us with these goddamn spiders this whole time, I might have a problem with you guys now.
Magic cigarettes.
She looks at you all. She says, "Did you not get the antidote?"
What antidote? When was that on the table?
Little green
what this
bottle?
was? And Elizabeth is pulling it out. I was using it to poison the big spider. It was an antidote?
I mean, it kind of worked. I'm sorry, who are you?
It's my aunt.
No relation.
Oh, we're a
And-
little bit related.
She opens this very large bag and starts digging through it, and there's a yarn with little needles stabbed into it, and there's a pack of cigarettes and a lighter, and she pulls out another vial and she shoves it at Wrath. And this is a very large Mary Poppins bag. Everything is in it. It is a grandma bag. She looks at the rest of you. She says, due to recent events, I will be handling your debrief. Your lightkeeper is presently indisposed.
Is she a spider person?
She is not a spider person, but there is she kind of gestures towards the lights that don't have power. A slightly bigger issue.
Oh, yeah.
Why are there spiders?
Good
Quinn,
question.
if I may, and I'm going to start reaching towards your duffel bag.
Go ahead.
I'm going to pull out the glass box with the spider. This is one of the babies of what we killed and what had been snatching people up.
And there's
She kinda-
probably a bigger one somewhere, and I'll just point down.
I think we killed Dad, not Mom, and they're off to see Mom.
Or big sibling.
Ugh. You better hope it's not Mom.
Well,
Well,
they
they
said they were going to
they're
find mom, so
yeah.
She
One of them
was-
starts squealing about going to see Mom.
Either way, they headed right into the sewer.
Yeah. Is Raph taking the antidote?
Oh, yeah. Whatever she hands me, I'm taking. Tastes like Starry.
It burns going down.
Exactly.
Starry is super sweet. Don't give me that.
Starry's disgusting. I don't know what anybody's talking about.
I didn't say it was good sweet. um She's tapping on the glass. A spider stealing faces.
And we've
All
got
right.
one more faceless body.
it's currently slouched outside of the Velvet Petal.
Mick Aguilar.
Good to know. Guess we'll have a new election shortly after all of this is settled.
You may also hear about the old Eden Theater burning down.
Had my first date there. She pointedly looks at you.
Oh, I'm sure the
Listen.
sun used to still be out at that time.
It was a wild chance to try and get rid of some of the spiders. There were a lot.
Emily does not make eye contact.
So she's gonna take the spider and put it in her bag.
What a sentence.
And as she kind of taps it, the rest of her junk just like gets thrown into it more than it floats in.
Is there somewhere I could lay down and go to sleep, maybe?
Come on, let's get you inside, and I'll just immediately take you up to the apartment. It is again small, one room, bed in one corner. The stove there's both for cooking and for heat. A very small table. Again, not enough chairs for 4 people. The desk with the absolutely semi non-functional typewriter, and I'll literally just to the bed and be like,
Raphael would tap wherever the pocket is that has the picture in it. And he'd say, See, you're safe, though. So it all worked out. And he'd lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah, I think, man, Emily just stands there and thinks about how long it's been since she saw her brother, since she had this kind of interaction with anybody, even though she's only known you for a few hours. There's so many similarities. And she will actually tuck you in.
Oh. You'll just curl up happily.
Madam hands Quinn a little bag that kind of, it has some first aid supplies in it. She kind of bows, and Candela appreciates your service. And she looks at Elizabeth and says, "We will retrieve the body. You should all make sure you're safe and have somewhere safe. All of the chapter houses are open to all of you, in case you need a place to stay. Right now, the city is, for all intents and purposes, under attack. Stay safe, stay in touch, and stay in the light." Madam, however, as she walks away, does not stay in the light.
Quinn gives a little bow as Madam leaves and goes, "And also with you." I don't know what to say here.
Before she leaves, Elizabeth is going to try and just get her attention. And just... I know you're busy, but if you've got a moment, if you can stop at my home and just let Gunther know I'm not going to be there. It's in the dark, and I just don't want him worrying about me.
She bows her head in a nod and just, "It will be done."
And Elizabeth, with more emotion than she's shown this whole time, almost a tear in her eye and a smile. "Thank you." And we'll turn around to meet back up with the others and go up to Emily's apartment.
We go up to the apartment and squish in there.
Yeah. When you guys come in, I think I have put like a kettle on to make tea, and I'm just sitting at the table with a 1,000-yard stare.
And this is where we will end assignment 4888. You guys successfully found and killed the very large spider known as the Recluse. I want to thank all of you for joining us on this trek of horror. I appreciate all of you being here and all of you playing this game with me. And I appreciate everyone who's watched and dealt with the spider phobia, arachnophobia that we all have lovingly.
Yeah.
Have a good night, and rolling into Ragnarok's The Meridian Chronicles, we'll be taking a break, and we will pick back up Um, our next series will air in February. Have a good holiday.
See y'all.